All right, Easy Bass Flies series. Now we've done 2 bait fish, we've done 2 kind of bottom flies, a crayfish and a leech. Now we're moving to the fun stuff, for the popper flies. Let me move my vise out of the way. We're gonna do 1 popper and we're gonna do a diver. Today's video is on the diver. The Trashy Diver is what I call it. Trashy, there's not one natural material on this thing. And it's just, it's not even fly tying. You tie a tail in and then you wrap and you put seal legs and a popper head on it. Well, we made it a diver head, but you know what I'm saying. We got a nice flutter tail back here, some silly legs. This thing is gonna dive. And it's almost gonna walk like a crankbait because of this. You can't see it with the head on there, but you'll see when we start tying it. This is tied on a bent Ahrex streamer hook. You know, the ones that you'll see when we start tying, but it's gonna wiggle with the flutter tail and the silly legs and then slowly rise back up because we've actually back weighted this fly. It's not gonna be neutrally buoyant. I mean, this is like a solid foam head, but it's gonna raise a little faster than, you know, most foam headed flies because we put a little bit of that back weight on there. Anyways, good looking fly. It's almost got like a froggy profile, but once you start stripping it, it narrows out. Kind of like a grub lure. Anyways, there it is. Now let's tie it. Alright, so in the vise we have the Ahrex bent streamer hook, TP650, 26 bent streamer, 1/0. It's a trout hook, so it's not really like as big as a hook gap as like a bass 1/0 would be, or some of their predator hooks. But this is fine. This is kind of the perfect little snack size. This is a dirty fly. I've said it in the beginning of the video. There's not one natural material in this fly. But, and I know this is like I was hesitant to do it because a lot of people might not have these materials. But if you just buy the materials, it's literally just a little bit of thread and some glue and you've got this killer fly with some killer action. So first thing we're gonna do is because we're putting the foam head on this bent streamer hook, we've got weight down here, we've got weight down here too. So it's gonna ride hook point down just like it is in the vise right now. But just to make sure that happens and to make sure it tracks right when we're stripping, I'm actually going to add some lead wraps right back here at the bend of the hook. You know, with the foam head being up on this jig hook's pretty much what it is, but people have like taking this hook and tying divers, which is what we're doing today. When that fly lands on the water, just a little bit of weight back here, even farther down, it's just gonna help it keel right. You can see I haven't even started my thread anywhere. I'm just gonna wrap this up. Light wraps at first when you're working with the lead wraps because they like to come apart. Once you get a few good wraps in, let me cut my thread. That's when we come with the gel control. And just go ahead and make sure this ain't going nowhere. Just like that. Let me wipe that off. All right. Next material is Cohens double tails, double flutter tail, and small. That's gonna be the tail of this fly. I'm telling you, this is one of those flies that gets real close to just a bass lure, but once I film the video fishing it, you'll understand why this thing moves like crazy in the water. And look how easy this was to tie. They're surprisingly tough too. Like, you could catch a lot of fish on them and they're not gonna just fall apart immediately. So So there we go, that's our tail, that's it. And I should mention this too, as you're tying the fly, these are these perfect popper heads. They're these soft ones, and they are the small size. Let me show you the brand so you can see. Perfect popper heads. And I believe it is the slotted PP number 7 that we're working with right here. So your double barrel, I tried to tie them with that head, you know, the double barrel popper head and all that. And what happens is they don't come pre-slit, so you can slit them. These do come pre-slit. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it look like when you put this head on, oops. When you put this head on, people really aren't gonna be able to tell that it's on a bent shank, right? Well, you can see the eye pointing down. That's how we're gonna set it on there. So what I was saying was, as we're tying this, just do that every once in a while, making sure we're not crowding it up and, you know, all that fun stuff. And we still got a really good hook gap, as you can see. So, next material. This is minnow flash, sparkle minnow brush, and pearl. I believe this is 1.5 inch. We're not gonna do too much of this. And I'm gonna tie it in right in front of where I tied the tail in, because the nice thing about these brushes is they really cover a lot of your wraps. So I'm not worried about covering in the tie-in point of the tail. And I'm palmering my material right now. And being that all this fly is completely synthetic, it's gonna be really, really easy to cast. I'm sorry, I don't count wraps, but you see where I'm at. And we're gonna tie that in, secure. Oops, use your junk scissors. These are my everything scissors. I need to go buy nice ones. I haven't done like deer hair work in a while, which is what really I just use the nice scissors for, so. Okay, tied that in. Get my bobkin, poke all these fibers out that I trapped. Boom, the fly's starting to come together. So I have way too much light right now. It's kind of, there we go. So you can see this is gonna be dope, trust me. Next, brush. Polar fiber brush in white, 1.5 inch also. I'm gonna tie that in. And I'm tying it right in front of where I tied off the flash brush. Palmering it back before I wrap it. Polar fiber, I mean, it's pretty much like craft fur. Like I said, the only thing that's not simple about this is I mean, honestly, you can get all this stuff online, so I know if you're a beginner fly tyer, you might not have all these materials right in front of you is the only tricky part, but once you get them, I mean, you can buy 1 pack of each of the materials that I'm using right now. It comes with 6 heads. This pack originally had 5 or 6 tails. The brushes come in 3 I mean, you can tie like, I want to say over a dozen flies. Well, I guess how many hooks come in the pack? Yeah, they come with 12 hooks, so there we go. A dozen flies. Easy. Trap that in and I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna carefully wrap over that tag end of that wire, making sure it doesn't cut me or cut my thread. Just pick out this polar fiber. There we go, we're looking good, right? There, that's better in the lighting. So we're getting kind of that body and that bulk to the fly. So now, the last thing we're gonna tie in is some silly legs. I've got these barred ones. I've mentioned it before in my videos. I just go like on Amazon and you buy like you can buy like 20 packs of bass skirts for real cheap. The only problem is it's hard to like replicate it, so some of my flies might have different color legs and stuff, but they come with way cooler colors than just like only what one company makes when you're talking about fly material packaging. I just messed that up. Let me start that over. So I got my silly legs here. I'm gonna put them over my thread like this and bring them up, kind of try to even them out. I'm not too worried about it. And then I'm gonna bring my thread right straight down. I may take 1 or 2 wraps over it just to make sure it's secure. Then with my left hand, I'm gonna grab the silly legs and kind of pull them to the sides like this on either side and wrap over them. So now we've got silly legs sticking out of either side of our fly. And once I got them tied in, I'm gonna come over here and just cut them even. Oh, you guys can't really see that. Just like that. So now we got these crazy legs sticking out of it, which is good. Silly legs, flutter tail. And I'm gonna take my thread, I'm gonna wrap it all the way up to the hook eye. All I'm doing now is giving a thread base for my popper head to really be able to stick and get that adhesive mixed up all up in the foam and in my thread. I'm gonna finish the fly off right here. Don't have to worry about this fly coming apart because we're gonna super glue. All the threads for the head of this fly will be covered in super glue. So this is when one of these little hair clips come in handy. I'm gonna peel my material back. The silly legs are kind of hard to trap sometimes. Put that guy on there. Now, one quick tip with these, they are pre-slit, but they're really tight, so I like to stick my bodkin in there. Bodkin, I don't know. And kind of spread it out. Let me try to show you that. See how I spread it out? I just like to, you can always pinch it back together. It's gonna be a lot easier to make sure we get this head where we want it. Loctite gel, super glue on everything. And we're going to place our head right here. And squeeze and hold. Shouldn't take long for this thing to, for the glue to settle up on this thing. So I know it looks like we got like a really skinny neck right now, but once we take this out, puff this back up. I fish it just like this. I'm gonna stick eyes on it for the YouTube video, but unless you like resin the whole head or something, they're not gonna last very long. But we'll do it for the video. I got some eyes right here. I've got too many eyes, honestly. There we go. These look good. And once you start knocking these out, like the length of this video, you can cut that down like 70, like a quarter of the time. I would have had this tied already if I wasn't talking this much. Got my eye over here. Let me give it another eye on this side. Oh man, It's not YouTube worthy. I got glue all on the eye. Alright, that's it. The Trashy Diver. Cool name. Look at the profile on it. The crazy legs. The flutter tail. So this thing is going to dive, and that diving action is what's going to give it... Uh-oh, my dog's messing up. Wife's getting on to him. Is going to give it that flutter, like if it's a frog or something that bass are just going to snatch up. And then it's going to float back up slowly. We've got a little bit of weight back here to make sure she stays straight in the water. And just super simple. Like I said, this video is, I mean, I don't know how long it'll be after I edit it, but all synthetic materials. Just tie the tail in. Wrap the brushes. The brushes is what makes it easy. Otherwise, I would have to put a bunch of flash and then like a dubbing loop and then the head. But you don't even have to worry about slicing the head even. These come pre-sliced. Just super... I mean, I can't wait till I film the fishing video with all of them, because this is one of my favorite, honestly. I've caught a few fish on it. I only fished it in the fall though. In the summer, in the spring, this thing will probably kill. So yeah. The Trashy Diver is complete. Thank you for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed tying this fly. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys next time on another episode of The Everyday Angler.